Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yes.
It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands
Looks like
of
a
the
dump.
Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words.
I'd leave too if that's what my town looked like.
The fire fades.
Looks like it's already faded
And
though.
the lords go without thrones.
Humble. Oh, rip. Press F to pay your respects. He didn't make it.
When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls,
But for whom does the bell toll?
unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep. Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant.
Oh, spoopy butthole head.
Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be seen
That's a video of me last time I had to go shopping with my girlfriend.
So it is that ash seeketh embers.
Dad Ash, though. Alright. The hardest part of the entire series. Character creation. Alright. Because I'm so unoriginal. A Canadian penguin. Perfect. I don't usually like to play as men in these games. For one reason. This is what I stare at all day. I'd rather not stare at a man's ass. These are the classes anyway, but there's about 4 or 5 different types of attacks. So you have your knights, which are like your, generally they're going to be heavier armor, they're going to use strength weapons, so those are going to be the big, really cool looking, they're going to hit for heavy damage, slow weapons. You have your mercenaries and your warriors, they're going to be more revolved around, well, more your mercenaries than your warriors. Your warriors are going to be, again, like your axe users, use a shield, big, not really big bulky armor, but just heavier weapons, I guess. Mercenaries are going to be more like dexterity weapons, so those are going to be your curved swords, your like katanas, your weapons that are neat, your bows, that kind of stuff. I don't really know how else to explain it. Heralds are going to be people that have like healing spells. They're going to use spears, long-range weapons. Your thieves, they're going to be daggers and quick weapons and fast and light armor. Assassins, same idea. sorcerers are going to use what's called sorceries, obviously. Those are going to be like your magic users in a regular game. Pyromancers are going to use fire type magic. Clerics are going to be revolved around using maces and healing. And then deprived are for the people that hate themselves and want to take a challenging game even farther. So this is what you start with. You start with a club and a wooden shield and no armor. I've played through the game probably 3 or 4 times. I've never played as a sorcerer, so that's what I'm going to try. So Burial Gift. So these are different items you can start with. They range anything from a ring that gives you more health, heal yourself completely, doesn't matter how much health you have, it'll heal you all the way to full. Black Fire Bombs, they're throwable weapons that will deal a lot of damage when they blow up. Very useful for like cheesing the early boss and that kind of stuff. Makes the game a little bit easier to jump right into. I don't want that. Fire Gem, after you upgrade your weapon after a certain point, you get these different types of gems that you can enchant your weapon. Obviously, with the Fire Gem, you can enchant your weapon with fire damage. I'm probably not going to start with that either. Cracked Red Eye Orbs you use to invade people. White Branch, if somebody invades you, you actually turn into a piece of the environment, whether it be maybe you're outside, so you'll turn into a bush, or you'll turn into a barrel or a crate or something along those lines as well. It's really neat. But just because I haven't played with Pyromancy before and face don't matter, I don't look at it. Build. Probably just slim, I guess. Appearance don't matter. Finalize. And now let's jump right into the game. We might find out for whom the bell tolls. Harambe sent me back. Made that joke for one particular person that's probably gonna watch this. I would think he's gonna hate me, but he's also the kind of the person. So there's 2 people that I work with that I know for sure have started doing YouTube videos recently. I'll link both of them down below, but just watching their videos and hearing them talk about the games and stuff really pushed me to I guess want to try it myself. I'm nowhere near as good as either of them for sure. They're more talkative than I am, but we'll give it a go. So I guess for those of you that have never played a Dark Souls game, these little messages are left by other players in other areas of the game. So in this one, they're left by the developer kind of as your tutorial. So like this one, I think says, so it tells you how to run, or dash, I guess. So if you hold B and forward, you will sprint. I do have my HUD set to hidden, so it'll only pop up if I'm blocking or attacking. So up in the top left corner, just to give you a little bit of an explanation, the red bar there is my health. The blue bar is what's called FP, so my mana, and then my green bar is my stamina. So if I sprint, my stamina goes down, and if I do a heavy attack, it goes down as well. Blocking, your stamina will also go down, of course. So all your basic RPG elements. So the little cutscenes there, when I'm attacking those enemies, they're called backstabs. You deal bonus damage to an enemy when you attack it from behind. And I think that might be what this one's going to explain here. Yeah, oh, okay, so you get a critical hit. So this attack. And you are invulnerable, so you cannot get gang banged. The other kind of critical attack you can get see if I can do it, is a parry. So when the enemy type goes to hit, you use a heavy attack with your left hand when you have a shield. Oh shit. And you'll parry their attack, and they'll leave themselves wide open to be hit. So we use item with X. So these enemies are meant to be fairly easy. Obviously, they don't want to discourage you that badly from wanting to not play their game. So we got a Fading Soul. So that's a usable item that gives me souls. So those in turn can be used either as experience points to level up or currency. I can buy more items. I can upgrade weapons and armor with it. That kind of stuff. We got some snowy mountains. And that's a castle. I think later on we go into that castle, I'm pretty sure. So that little silhouette is a real player that's playing the game at the same point as me. I cannot interact with him at any way, and there's no guarantee that he can even see me. So that's kind of one of the ways that FromSoft has made their multiplayer. Resting at bonfires. So these... Oh, I got a new emote. So bonfires are both good and bad. So they're really good because they're checkpoints. So now if I was to die, I would respawn at that point. They're also bad. I guess they also replenish your potions. So that Estus flask on the bottom there, in the left, those are my health potions. The blue one obviously is a mana potion. They're also bad for the simple fact that later on in the game when there's more challenging enemies, they will actually, if you rest at a bonfire, it will actually revive those enemies as well. He might turn around before I can get a backstab. So that is my target. I need to go in that little doorway. The only reason I know that is because I've played this game before. This area is set up as a kind of like a maze almost, where there's not a whole lot of explanations where to go. So this part is tricky because I'm on a very tight ledge, and there's an archer that fires arrows at me, and it slowly pushes you back. So I gotta be careful I'm not within his line of sight so he doesn't shoot an arrow at me. So the one nice thing about enemies that do essentially hide behind a shield, kind of how I'm doing, is I get a kick. So if I can do it, I'll show you. So if I hold my shield out, I'm taking a lot of damage. So if I kick them, it knocks them back, and it breaks their guard. There we go, and then I get another critical hit. So I still take a little bit of damage when I block... Oh, nice, firebombs. I still take a little bit of damage when I block that attack, just because the shield I'm using doesn't have very good physical damage resistance. So you can upgrade your shields later on, just for better like magic defense or physical defense and that kind of stuff. Another thing that I find really cool about this game is in the so there's not actually... There is multiplayer, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but there's these blood stains that you can see, so it shows the player and somebody has died, and obviously he just ran off a cliff. Game was too hard for him, I guess. So there's no other way to gain your potions back other than resting at bonfires. the only types of enemies that don't respawn after a bonfire are bosses and that kind of stuff. What is wrong with my face? A burn victim. I wonder why. He's got... Oh, the sword disappears. And this motherfucker comes to life. Ludix Gunder. Ouch. Ouch. He's gonna lunge at me. I'm gonna roll. So I could block his attacks, but it would leave me wide open, and most bosses like to combo their attacks, which I really don't want to do. He gets bigger, easier to hit, but he also develops a resistant to magic. Oh, and I fucked up. Yes. Air of Fire destroyed, and I obtained the coiled sword. And there's another bonfire, which I am thankful for. Perfect, and that's the first boss. So I'm gonna end